What's up, team, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Stock Show here with Lucas. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my top 3 picks for today. I've got a really interesting one of them having to do a lot with the social media things, right? So we saw what happened to social media picks, stocks this week, and I'm going to give you guys a little overview on what's happening and why things are going down the way they are. All right, I'm also going to give you guys an extra little pick at the end, a crypto pick, one that I do like a lot, and one of which is my biggest holding in my crypto portfolio. All right, so as always, this video is for entertainment purposes only, and it's sci-fi time, so let's get into this. Alright guys, so before we really get into it and I start to talk to you guys about my top picks, the one that I want to mention is going to be here. We're going to take a look at Snapchat, right? So Snapchat has been very bullish over the past several months, pretty much over the past year. It's been consistently running up, a very bullish trend here when we take a look. But however, it did sell off quite aggressively here on its previous earnings, right? On the last earnings that they just had, it fell down almost, well, actually more than 25%. It was down 25% and it finally closed almost 26.5%. So that is a huge drop, down almost $20 for Snapchat. The question we must ask is, why did it sell off so much? Their earnings weren't that bad, right? So aside from that, the reason that they sold off, and we could see a huge sell-off across the board in all the social media platforms. If we go take a look at Facebook, Facebook sold off quite aggressively, down 5%. They had originally sold off. Prior to that, there was the whistleblower, and there was also a lot of outages on Facebook. So again, Facebook was very bullish, and then they sold off quite aggressively. And as I mentioned, it was because of the whistleblower effect and also the outages that they had. So a lot of people did get a little skeptical and started to sell off their positions. And as they started to reverse back upwards, they did sell off again with this social media company sell-off. So if we go take a look at Twitter, again, another big one. Sorry, let's take a look here at Twitter. Another big one, down almost 5% on the day on Friday. And now let's go take a look at Pinterest. Basically, across the board, every social media stock sold off aggressively. And it's because even looking at Google, Google did sell off as well. So really, all of these networks out there sold off for one specific reason, and it's what Snapchat announced during their press release. So basically, let's look at Snapchat because that was the leading effect, and all the other ones, this was the catalyst event, and all the other ones followed. Basically, today I'm going to go a little more in depth on at least this specific play. So Snapchat sold off because when they came out and on their press release, they basically mentioned that Apple has this new, on their new update, they've basically started to block these companies, block these huge tech social industry companies from tracking users' data. So when they are in third parties. So basically when you're on your phone, or when you're on your computer and you go onto another platform or you start to search other things on other search engines, these social media platforms can't track that data. And why is that data so important? Well, because how do these companies make their money? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all these companies make money through advertisement, right? And basically people pay for ads on there so that they're targeted ads and that they could target the specific audience that they're looking to target. And by not being able to track this data from other platforms, now a lot of people, or maybe less people, will be doing these paid sponsored ads, and they may lose revenue in the future. So this was a really big catalyst event, a lot of bad news for these social media stocks. And I do think they will recover, but obviously on that initial effect, it did sell off and there was an oversold level here. So it did come down. Let's take a look here at Snapchat. This isn't necessarily my top pick of the week. I did just want to talk about it and explain as to why it sold off, and it has to do with that third-party data. So really, any play for this week will revolve around also looking at these social media ticker symbols. So like I mentioned, Snapchat, Twitter will be another one. Facebook would be another good one, Pinterest, as well as Google. So they all vary in different price ranges, and it's good for all of you guys. I'm not sure how much capital you're trading with, but there is a different pick for each one of you. So Snapchat, let's take a look at that one, because obviously that is the one that sold off the most, down almost 27%. So it's down here at about $55. Again, a common support level, but it could come down to 50. So if you are looking to play this, I wouldn't go and invest all your money right now into Snapchat. Snapchat can continue to sell off in this coming week. I do think it could even possibly come down to about $50. I think it's going to hold there at that very strong support level, right? We do see a very strong support here where it's bounced off of it multiple times. So I do think it's going to sell off a bit more. However, if this begins to turn and recover, well, what you could do is start by adding a small position into this. So what you want to do is maybe here at about 55, you go in with about 10% or so, and then you can add to your position whether it pulls back. If it comes down to 50, well, you can add a little more. So at least you've got your foot through the door, a little bit of skin in the game. And if it begins to reverse upwards, well, then now you're starting to see a confirmation of a reversal, and you can add more to your position and ride its recovery. So that would be the same style of play for any of these, whether, like as I mentioned, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Start by adding a small percentage of your capital, and then scale your way into the position, because as I mentioned, we do see it down here specifically for Snapchat. We do see it down about 27%, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to sell off another 5, 10, 15%. So of course you want to preserve that capital, but if you do think that this is the bottom and you think it's a very good entry point, as I mentioned, the best way to play this is going to be just starting by adding a little bit to your portfolio and gradually increasing that position. So that's going to be my top pick for the social media stocks. Well, again, as I mentioned, it's not specifically to Snapchat, but it could be any of those that I do think are very good trades. Now let's get into my actual two top other picks, aside from these social media plays, which is going to be UPS. So what do I like about UPS? Again, having to do with last week's video. Last week I talked to you guys about a lot about these stocks that are going to run up leading up into Christmas. We talked about Target, we talked about Macy's. What happened right after? Well, I hope you guys played those, because Macy's was up 17% the day after I made the video. I believe Target was up about 2 to 3% and continued its run. So those are huge trades, and I hope you guys capitalized off of those. But now again, another little Christmas play, something that I think is going to run up into this Christmas time period. The one thing that you do want to keep in mind is that they do have earnings coming up. So earnings can always act as a negative or positive catalyst, and that could be that can go each way. So if you do want to play it, you could try to lock in your profits before their earnings, or if you want to be a little riskier, you could try to hold it through earnings. All right, but I do see UPS continuing its run up. Of course, we're going to see how earnings plays off. If it does sell off a bit, maybe you can capitalize and take advantage of that opportunity. If not, and it continues to run up, I do see it coming up back up here to about $212 a share. So if it does run up to its previous high here, about 212, that gives us approximately 4.5% return. All right. And we do see that this is a clear, very strong resistance, right? It's been rejected multiple times and then eventually sold off. So I do see this possibly running back up to $212, which is about $9 away from where we are now, but I do see it eventually breaking that as we run up into Christmas as well. So this could be both a short-term play, either a day trade, or more of a long-term play. But if you're playing it more long, I would look for a little pullback and then enter your trade. All right, now the last stock that I want to talk about is going to be ticker symbol here, DG. So this is Dollar General. Again, kind of leading up into this Christmas, a lot of these retail stores are going to do well. But what do I like about this? I also like the technical analysis behind this a lot. So again, it's been a very bullish stock over the past 6 months, right? We've seen little corrections, but these are healthy corrections overall. The one little thing that I do want to point out is that it is at a critical point right now. So this is quite a critical point here at sitting at 220. We have seen it be rejected here in the past at the beginning of May. It did get rejected and sold off. And we are touching here the two SMA lines. So we've got both the 100 and the 200-day SMA line that it is following. So right now, what I would do for this trade is I would wait to see if it breaks above this, right? So on Friday, it did go up to about 221.70. Again, that's still part of that resistance line. So there is a chance that it pulls back to maybe about $250 a share. But if we do break above that, maybe to 222, 223, 224, then you could begin to increase your position size, as I do see this running back up to its 52-week high and breaking that all-time high, right? So if we do run back up to that all-time high, what can we expect? Well, that's about 8% return on the stock. So that is a great return for a huge stock like this of about $220 a share. In options, that would be an even better return. All right, now the last thing that I want to mention, I did promise you guys that I would give you guys one of my top crypto picks. So my top crypto pick that I'm going to mention to you right now that is actually sitting at a very good price, in my opinion, especially with after all this this huge crypto run that we've experienced over the past couple of weeks, with Bitcoin breaking all-time highs, right, going up above $66,000. Ethereum has been running up as well. Cardano, the ticker symbol is ADA. This is Cardano. This is my biggest holding in my crypto portfolio. Cardano doesn't always follow the Bitcoin and Ethereum runs, right? We've seen Bitcoin in the past when it crashed. Cardano just took a miniature dip, but it was quite consistent and continued to plow forward. Right now, Cardano is down about 2% and sitting at a good support here of about $2.10 per coin. So I do see this eventually running back up to about these 220. So you could either try to scalp that and make a little bit of a profit, or if you're looking more for a long-term investment, I could see this obviously coming back up to the $3 mark, which it was at early September. But I could see it going even higher than that. So currently, some of the crypto experts, what their prediction is for this coin is about $10 to $12. So if we're going $10 to $12, well, you're 6 timesing your money, and that is a great return. So I personally am in this for the long run. I don't day trade this or swing trade it. I just add to my portfolio and I continue to invest in this for the long run. But so make sure to keep an eye on that, and there will be other future cryptos that I talk about in the future, but for now, this will be my top holding and my favorite crypto that has been the most consistent overall. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please smash that subscribe button and make sure to like and comment. It does help out the channel. I appreciate it a lot. And as always, if you guys have any questions or any tickers you guys want me to research, put them in the comments below and I'll make sure to do an analysis on them as well. Aside from that, I wish you guys all a great rest of the Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend, and we'll see you this week at the trading week. Have a good one, everybody.